We all know quarterback's the most important position on the field, but the attention quickly turned from Jayden Daniels to Johnny Newton as we found out Wednesday morning that the second-round rookie was making his debut at Commanders training camp. That and more on today's episode of Locked On Commanders.
You are Locked On Commanders, your daily podcast on the Washington Commanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into this first episode of Locked On Commanders from Washington Commanders training camp. Kind of the second if you count the pre-training camp press conference, but today's the first day following practice. Of course, Locked On Commanders is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I'm your host, David Harrison, credentialed member of the media covering the Washington Commanders for Sports Illustrated's CommanderGameDay.com. Here with you every Monday through Friday. Greatly appreciate you coming through today. Everydayers, appreciate you coming through every single day. This is your daily podcast covering the Washington Commanders. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe for free on YouTube or wherever you are listening to today's episode. On this episode, you're going to hear from Washington Commanders linebacker Jamin Davis and wide receiver Luke McCaffrey. We're also going to talk about Jayden and Marcus Mariota rotating through the starting quarterback number one, however you want to label it, reps at training camp. But we're going to start off with the story of the day, which is Johnny Newton making his practice debut. If you want to discuss any of that, anything else Washington Commanders related, all you got to do is text me. I'm your friend here on the ground covering the Washington Commanders. A lot of insiders say it's like they have a buddy giving them the sights and sounds when they can't be here, and I would love to be that for you as well. To get in on that, just go join subtext.com/LockedOnCommanders, and from there I will text you. You can text me. We'll talk Commanders. We'll have a grand old time. No apps, no hashtags, no filters. You text me, I text you. Join subtext.com/LockedOnCommanders to get involved in that today. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Johnny Newton, second-round draft pick. A lot of people had first-round grades on him, and he slipped to day two. A lot of people assumed, one, because of position needs around the National Football League, but also because of a foot injury that he suffered at the University of Illinois, required a surgical procedure in January. People were just a little bit concerned, or at least the impression is that people were a little bit concerned around the National Football League of what his recovery might look like and whether or not it might creep up or how much it might hinder him. Adam Peters, general manager of the Washington Commanders, when day two came around and he was still sitting there for the Washington Commanders in the second round, they just couldn't pass him up. They had to go out there and get a guy that they had a first-round grade on and just kind of weather the storm through the injury, through the recovery. Again, think about long-term, not just about short-term. And so the Washington Commanders did that very thing. In his post-draft medical workup with the medical staff here in Ashburn, Virginia, they discovered another foot injury on the opposite foot, the one that hadn't been surgically repaired in January. Similar type of injury, we were told, similar type of procedure, we were told. And it turns out similar type of really recovery, right? He had that surgery in January, but he was able to do some things for teams throughout the pre-draft process to kind of give them a look at where he was coming. So about a couple months, had this procedure shortly after the NFL draft. And here we are a couple months later, give or take a little bit of time. And he was cleared on Tuesday night. So we found out Wednesday morning, just before training camp practice was going to begin, that Johnny Newton had been cleared to join the team. Now, Dan Quinn did tell us in his pre-practice press conference that Johnny Newton not participating in team drills to start. They're going to ease him in. They're going to take their time. And I think that's a smart thing to do. And that's kind of the way they've been handling Johnny Newton and his injury situation this entire time. They haven't been wanting to put dates on things. They haven't want to rush him out. They want to be smart about this. They want to do their due diligence. They want to be conservative, to put it in a popular phrase, with Johnny Newton and that injury. Again, this is long-term. They're thinking about Johnny Newton 5 years, 8 years, even 10 years from now, not thinking about him 10 weeks from now or even 10 days from now. So taking the cautious approach today, he was out there doing individual drills with the defensive line. I sent a couple of tweets about that. I caught a little bit of a video of one of the drills, put that out on Twitter. There's also an article up on CommanderGameDay.com, actually 2 articles up that involve the Johnny Newton return. So again, you can catch all of that or see it for yourself a little bit. And really, when I'm watching Johnny Newton go through these individual drills, what really stood out to me is that he looks confident on his feet, right? He's not a guy who's coming out of his stance, hitting the pads, looking tentative. And certainly part of that could be just his competitive nature, right? And the willingness and the desire to go out there and be on an NFL practice field. I mean, again, we hear it from rookies all the time, right? This is a dream come true. And how many of us doing these shows, watching these shows, listening to these shows, had these same NFL dreams? Well, for Johnny Newton, he's now getting to live his dream, but then as soon as he gets to live his dream, in the National Football League. He's told by the medical staff, you got to shut it down for a little bit, slow it down. Eventually, you'll get it back out there. This was his first time really doing football activities on an NFL practice field. So he wanted to take every opportunity about it. So certainly the little bit of adrenaline, a little bit of excitement, possibly working in there, right? But the important part was look smooth off his feet, look fast out of his stance, all those things. One of the videos I sent out, there were some, we're all somewhat football experts these days. There's people talking about, oh, he could have got lower in his stance, all these things. And that's all fine and good. And the coaches will work on that. But the most important thing was just getting him back out there on the practice field. I'm sure that in the building right now, or maybe they've already done it or they'll do it tonight, they'll do some checks on him. They'll do some checks in the morning, test the flexibility, test the pain levels, all those things. Make sure he didn't suffer any setbacks. And they'll kind of roll that way before they ever try to get him into any team sessions. If I have to guess, which it would be purely a guess, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical trainer, none of that stuff. The team is not, again, putting any timelines on any of these things. I would imagine is going to be at least a week or two before we see Johnny do any type of team drills, any of the 11-on-11s or anything like that. And I don't think you really need to rush into that. You do want to get him a little bit of experience there before you go up to New York and do New Jersey and do the first joint practice with the New York Jets. And of course, you'd love to give him some snaps in the preseason. But other than that, no rush right now to move Johnny Newton. Just great to see him out there. Great to get some footage of him out there practicing. And I know we don't get to talk to him yet. Can't talk to him until he is a full participant in practice, but we will eventually get to talk to him. I'm sure that when we do, you're going to hear from the young man himself that he's super thrilled to be out there with his teammates, be out there with his position coaches, getting the job done. Two guys who were also super thrilled to be out there on the field. Rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels, veteran quarterback Marcus Mariota. Dan Quinn told us before training camp started they're not in any rush to crown Jayden and that you probably see a lot of rotational work between the two quarterbacks. Jayden and Marcus both got first-team reps. Jayden threw a touchdown. In fact, Jayden threw our play of the day. That's all coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode of Locked On Commanders is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting your baseball tickets faster and easier than ever before. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer that it gets to first pitch. So there's a game going on in your area. You don't have plans. You got some money. You want to go see a ball game. You can do it with the Game Time app. They've got killer last-minute deals that will give you up to 60% off on their app. They've also got all-in price views so that when you get to the checkout box, there's not going to be a surprise, no sudden $100 fees or anything crazy like that, and views from your seat. So if you've never been to the ballpark, you can still get a glimpse of what it might look like when you get there with these tickets. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying your Major League Baseball tickets. There's a Washington National game tonight on Wednesday following day one of training camp, 6 p.m. first pitch, I do believe. So if you don't have plans, you got a little bit of money, you want to go to the ballpark, hit the Game Time app, and you can find those tickets there. So take the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets with Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create your account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create your account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Marcus Mariota, veteran quarterback, got first team reps for the Washington Commanders in team drills on day one of training camp. So did rookie Jayden Daniels. The two rotated. We'll talk about how each man did coming up next here on today's episode of Locked On Commanders. Thank you for making Locked On Commanders your first listen or your first view today and every day. Every day, thanks for coming through on a regular basis like you do. We're doing this all training camp long, guys. If there is a practice, you're going to see my ugly mug or hear my ugly voice standing here talking to you from the Ashburn, Virginia practice facility, talking about what we saw at Washington Commanders practice. We'll also hear from some players starting to line up some coach conversations, things like that. So make sure you're coming through every single day. Between episodes, if you need more sports, check out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever 24/7 live streaming sports channel on YouTube that brings you the biggest stories in sports all day without all the unnecessary drama. Again, that's streaming for free 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Talking about the quarterbacks. Dan Quinn told us before training camp, pre-training camp press conference, he said they're not in a rush to crown Jayden Daniels the starting quarterback. It's no secret. They picked him number 2. He's going to be the starting quarterback. When it happens is not important. It's going to happen. The process of getting there to making it happen is what's important. I fully agree with them. I think that's the best way for this team to go about doing it. That's exactly how they're doing it. Talk to us before practice on Wednesday, kind of getting a little bit more follow-up questions on that topic specifically. He said, look, you're going to see rotation. You're going to see Marcus Mariota get more reps sometimes. You're going to see Jayden Daniels get more reps sometimes. It's just going to kind of go back and forth, because while they're preparing Jayden to become the eventual starter, they need Marcus to be ready to be in the meantime starter, right? Whether Jayden's ready week 2 of the preseason, week 2 of the regular season, whenever it comes time for Jayden Daniels to be the starting quarterback, until that moment comes, Marcus Mariota, you assume, would be your starting quarterback that would hold that place. So it's important for Marcus to get those first team reps. Also important for Jayden to get those first team reps. Now, I was watching the defense, specifically edge rusher, linebacker Jamin Davis, when the team did their first 7-on-7 drills, and I'm told Jayden Daniels got the first team reps with the 7-on-7s. Now, when they broke into 11s, Marcus Mariota got the first set of 11s with the first team. So full team drills. Marcus Mariota, the first quarterback out there, had a really nice completion on a really well-run route by tight end Zach Ertz, who, again, I'm telling you guys, like, you may think of Zach Ertz as this old, maybe washed up, maybe not a lot left in the tank type of veteran tight end. I'm telling you, dude has got some gas. He ran a really great route, found some really good space for his quarterback, Marcus Mariota, put it right on him. Was a really good play. Jayden Daniels came in with the second unit, and on that drive, hit Bryson Tremaine on the left side on a dig route for his first completion of the day. Left side flare to Austin Eckler for his second completion of the day. Those were his only 2 pass attempts in the drill. There was a straight up run play. There was a read option play where Jayden kept and ran around the left side. Of course, no hitting the quarterback. So call an unfair call, which one? It was actually a really good read, though. Left side was wide open. And then he got sacked. And of course, he didn't get hit, but undrafted free agent safety Tyler Owens, who we talked about with Trevor Sickman, Pro Football Focus. If you caught that episode, Tyler Owens, undrafted free safety, someone that Trevor was really excited about, someone that I've been really excited about, came screaming on the offense's right side. So defensive left side of the formation, offensive right side of the formation. There was just no blocker there. Nobody messed up. Nobody missed an assignment. Maybe they missed a shift. Something. I mean, obviously somebody messed up. Don't get me wrong. But there was just no blocker there. And Tyler Owens came screaming around that edge. And Jayden, for all of his athleticism, for all of his speed, he was just dead to rights, guys. Tyler Owens ran past him, of course, because there's no hitting the quarterback. Jayden Daniels threw a pass. It was broken up by Noah Igbenogany, who looks like he's getting second team slot reps right now. But the key thing there, again, Tyler Owens coming in, getting that sack, very impressive from the young safety. Really showed that burst, really showed that speed. Definitely a good rep for him, and a good look for the defense, Bill, disguise that and not allow whoever's supposed to make that call on the offensive line make that call. Now, the next set of 11s that we saw Jayden Daniels on the field, he was with the first team. So Jayden Daniels getting the second set of first team reps with the 11s, getting the first set of first team reps in 7. So if you're doing the math, Jayden Daniels twice with the first team, Marcus Mariota once. So for whatever that's worth, I wouldn't read too much into any of it right now, but for whatever that's worth, go ahead and take that for what it's worth. In his set with the first team and 11 on 11s, Jayden Daniels went 4 for 4. Very first pass, a right side corner route to running back Brian Robinson Jr. for a touchdown. Next pass was a left side dig route to Terry McLaurin. And every day, as you already know, I hate seeing Terry McLaurin run dig routes, but we got to put the past in the past. And it's not like Terry McLaurin can just never run a dig route again. He's got to run a dig route. But I'm not going to lie, when I saw Terry McLaurin run that dig route, even in the red zone, I kind of flinched a little bit. But again, that's the past. This is the now. We're going to move on from that. Another dig route, this time on the right side to tight end John Bates, and then they finished it off a left side drag, so right to left side. Kaz Allen running the drag route. Kaz Allen gets first team reps. Again, don't read too much into it. First day of training camp, but it was good to see Jayden Daniels out there throwing the ball around the field, looking really good, looking really confident. Speaking of looking confident, I wouldn't say Jamin Davis looks like the most accomplished, most confident edge rusher you've ever seen, but certainly looks like he's getting a little bit more and more comfortable in what he's doing. While the team was doing their 7-on-7s and Jayden was getting the first team reps over there, and that I was over watching the edge group working with the defense, with their defense coaches, more specifically Ryan Kerrigan, watching a lot of things. Ryan Kerrigan had the chest pad on, the arm pads on, and what they were working on was the defensive ends getting their arms in, getting into the chest of the offensive player, taking them off their leverage point, and being able to just basically drive them with that hand. Saw Ryan Kerrigan do some coaching up, not just on Jamin Davis, but on several edge rusher players. Jamin Davis got in there, got a couple of reps trying to do that whole thing. What really impressed me, what I really liked when I came away from watching that individual drill from the defensive ends was Jamin came off of doing the drill with Coach Kerrigan, and immediately Dorrance Armstrong Jr. came up to him and kind of followed up with some of the coaching that Coach Kerrigan was giving him, followed up with the drill that he had just done. and you could just see them, and I could hear them talking about, hey, like when you do this, you kind of want to do this. Here's where you kind of want to get in. Here's how you want your hand placement to be. Doing all these things that I'm not going to give away too much because we don't want to let everybody else know what these guys are getting coached up on. But bottom line is it's about gaining leverage, taking control of leverage, knocking the offensive lineman off their leverage point, and then again, taking control of that rep. Jamin Davis able to use that speed, able to use that length. Again, he's got really long arms, very athletic, very fast. And the more comfortable he gets in doing these kinds of things, the more confident he gets at his ability to be a defensive end, an edge rusher for this Washington Commanders defense. And it's really good to see, again, Dorrance Armstrong Jr. helping out his battle buddy, his teammate Jamin Davis going out there. So good things from Jayden Daniels here when he did get the first team reps. We have the second team reps again. You want to make the count. 6 for 6 with a touchdown. Did get sacked one time. Again, I don't count the deflection by Noah Igbenogany as an incompletion because the play was already over because he got sacked by Tyler Owens. But that's how I chart things. Again, not everybody charts it the same way. But overall, good day for the rookie quarterback getting back in. Dan Quinn said he wanted to see energy. He wanted to hear communication from his guys as they got training camp started. And I can tell you from what I observed and from the areas that I was watching this team, a lot of energy, a lot of communication. But don't just take it from me. You can hear from a couple of the players themselves, Jamin Davis and Luke McCaffrey, coming through next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. eBay Motors knows it takes passion, drive, and patience for NFL teams to reach the top of the league, win the Lombardi Trophy, bring home a Super Bowl championship. And eBay Motors also knows it takes patience, passion, and drive to bring home your ride or die vehicle alive every single time. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle, but also everything you need to level it up to peak performance. Whether you're looking for superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, anything you're looking for, whether you want speed, power, or style for your vehicle, you can find it at eBay Motors. They've got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You're always going to find exactly what you need. And with eBay's guaranteed fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because at eBay, they want you burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need, the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guarantee fit only available to U.S. customers. To keep your ride or die vehicle alive at ebaymotors.com. We're going to wrap up this episode. Day one of Washington Commanders training camp in the books. We got time with Jamin Davis. We will get time with Jayden Daniels. We got time with Jamin Davis and with rookie wide receiver Luke McCaffrey. Kick it off with the linebacker, edge, rusher, Jamin Davis.
Oh, man, it's a big energy buzz so far. I mean, everybody excited first day back, so it's just everybody's just glad to be back around each other, get back to work, and just turn this thing in the right direction.
Coach Quinn has coached some pretty amazing linebackers in his time, including Bobby Wagner back in the Seattle days. As playing that position, is there anything specific you're looking forward to? Has he had any conversations about your role and how he wants you to see you play in his defense?
Yeah, man. I mean, in general, I'm just excited to be around the guys in general because I'm learning a lot from them, even these first couple of days, getting back around them and stuff like that, and then all throughout OTAs. So I'm just taking everything full head of steam and just learning what I can so I can go out there and make some plays this year.
A guy like Bobby who's got that wealth of information, right? Are you a sponge? Do you ask extra questions to a guy like that because you don't know what's going on with Tom, but then it comes out to pearl?
Absolutely, man. Since the day he stepped foot in the building, I've been trying to soak up everything I could. Like, similar to this morning, we got up at 6 a.m. together to make sure we rolled together, get here on time, and just picking up different things within his routine that I can take and just put in my own game.
That linebacker room has a lot of expectations. You've seen it from the strengths of this team. Do you guys feel extra pressure to perform and kind of lift the rest of the group up with the talent that you have?
Nah, not at all. I mean, like I said before, all offseason, man, it's just another chip on your shoulder. We don't really pay too much attention to outside noise or anything like that. We just come to work every day, do what we need to do, listen to what Coach Quinn telling us, and put our foot on the gas and roll.
And what has his message been so far right now?
Just stick to our standard. Don't worry about what anybody got to say for us. We write our own destiny at the end of the day, and we just play football. That's all we look for.
Jamie, how was your summer? Anything fun?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I took me a couple trips here and there and got my work in and just made sure I put on a little extra weight to make sure I'm ready to, make some more plays this year. That's all. Nothing too exciting.
I mean, I think we counted an hour and 20 minutes on the field today for the first practice. How does that feel? Do you like that? I mean, I know it's going to get long.
Yeah, I mean, first day back, getting your feet wet, it was pretty exciting. Like I said, to be back around the guys and everything. We didn't pay too much attention to time or anything like that. We were just excited to work.
Were you working out with Coach Tapp earlier?
Yeah, Coach Tapp and Arcade.
What's the energy like? He seems like he's quite vocal when he's out on the field, man.
Yeah, man, he's an exciting guy to be around, too. Like, I've been picking up on a lot of different pointers, coming down and putting my hand in dirt, so it's going to be pretty fun this year. I'm just really excited.
Jamin, how helpful have teammates like Dorrance Armstrong been for your edge development?
Oh, key. It's very key because a guy like that, he's showing you things that you probably wouldn't pick up on just, doing a new position change and stuff like that. So just talking to him on the side and just learning what I can and try to make some more plays.
All right, like I said, we also got time with rookie wide receiver Luke McCaffrey, so let's hear from the wide receiver. Okay, good off. Luke, obviously come from an NFL family. Has everything you've experienced here as a rookie so far met the expectations you've been having coming in?
Yeah, I think it's such a blessing to be in this building too, because it's exceeded expectations. Just the competitive nature, the willingness to love the game and to compete every day from the guys here is pretty special. Just the culture that we've built, the culture that the old heads are bringing in, and the young guys can help kind of fill in wherever their role starts, and it's been such a blessing, such a blast.
And then coming back from that break,
to you as it's to some of the other guys out here. How is that dynamic?
It's good. I think at the end of the day, football is football, and it's a great representation of trying to achieve the greatest possible thing, right? And for us, that's to keep winning games, to keep maximizing your potential, and to keep doing everything you can to get better and compete every single day. And I think no matter where you are, whether it's college, whether it's high school or Little League or the NFL, that's what it's going to be. And I think we have a locker room that's in tune to that, and we're just excited to be out here. So I don't know if anybody else has less or more experience. We have a lot of guys who know a lot of football and love to compete and love football.
And Luke, when you look through the process of OTAs and all the things you've been through right now, could you talk about just the progress in your game right now as far as what you're seeing?
Yeah, I think when you're new to a position and when you're getting into your first year, you're always going to see development and growth. And that's something that every day we have a list of things that we're trying to get better at. We're trying to improve, whether it's on an individual standpoint, whether it's on a team standpoint, an attitude standpoint. And every single day we're just coming out here trying to compete with ourselves, compete with each other, and do what we can to get a little bit better. And so I would hope that there's been some progress, and hopefully we see some more throughout our team's journey through this season.
What have you seen in yourself, though, as far as just your development from OTAs now out here in training camp?
Yeah, I think it's been cool to take in everything from all our older guys. Terry McLaurin's one guy specifically, and just his mentality and routine is so special, and it's so cool to be able to just watch and observe him on every single rep, every single thing he does to take care of his body, every single thing he does to approach the game the right way. And I think for me, there's been a lot of micro improvements because of that, but I think that ability to watch and learn from a guy who does it at such a high level like him has been able to be the result of why I've been able to have a lot of small improvements over the past couple of months.
See a lot of stranger to training camps, especially with your family being as it is. But what's it like to have one that's your own now? Like you're out here doing your own thing.
Yeah, this is special. I was just talking to one of our strength coaches how cool it is to in practice and see all the families out here and to have a little bit different atmosphere. In college it's a lot more team-based. You're in the building, you're locked down, and we go to work, but it's so cool to see the energy around an NFL training camp, and I can't wait to keep competing and keep getting ready for this season.
Seeing a lot of kids out here, they go back to school in a month. Does this feel like the first day of school?
It does. I was all excited last night. I was bouncing off the walls in the hotel room, and so I'm so excited to get out here and finally just be able to put a little bit of work on the field. You get excited for OTAs because you've been working on the combine so long, and now you really get to do what you love to do, and that's play football for the next couple months.
You mentioned Terry's routine, and how intense it is. What are some things about that routine that has really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think it's the intentionality, right? Being able to be so deliberate in every single thing you do, and I think when you're deliberate, when you're intentional, you're gonna, no matter what, see some sort of movement in your progress. And it's such a blessing to have a vet like him. That's the head and lead of our room.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode and day one of training camp out here in Ashburn, Virginia. I'm sweating a little bit. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to be sweating a lot of it. In the meantime, if you got questions or comments, drop them in the YouTube comment section or text me by becoming a Locked On Commanders insider at joinsubtext.com/LockedOnCommanders. Don't forget to check out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever 24/7 live streaming sports channel on YouTube. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Commanders your first listen of the day, every dayers. Thanks for coming through like you do. Until we speak again, if you're out and about, please be safe, be kind, and I will see you next time for another episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.